Ding, 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 ding. This is that we talked about a little bit when Dave and I played through. But originally, you could play all three characters right away.
It's empty.
Remember that?
Is that true?
Yeah, you could play.
So as soon as Hoagie gets that battery working, we're set.
I'm afraid not. We still need a diamond for the main unit. And your friend in the future needs power too, if she's still alive.
Alive?
Get me out of here! I like trees and everything, but this one has got to go.
There's something in the chronogon.
Ding, 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 ding. This is that we talked about a little bit when Dave and I played through. But originally, you could play all three characters right away.
How did we?
I'm trying to remember how we did.
How we referred to it to score it, because we would have had to play the game.
I think what we did. Yeah, I'm trying to remember.
How did we?
I'm trying to remember how we did.
How we referred to it to score it, because we would have had to play the game.
I think what we did. Yeah, I'm trying to remember too.
Hold
I think
up
what
a video
we
camera in front of the screen.
I think what we.
Ding, 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 ding. This is that we talked about a little bit when Dave and I played through. But originally, you could play all three characters right away. Remember that?
Is that true?
Yeah, you could play all the characters from the very beginning. And we had our first pizza orgy where we tested the game out, and people were like, "Oh, there's so many options," and they were overwhelmed. So now we unlocked it. So you have to play as Bernard for a little while, and then you do something that makes it so you can play Hoagie. And then Vern's the last.
And what about the other three kids?
They got cut.
There were 3 other kids?
They were 3 other kids. Do you remember who they were?
No, I don't remember anything about
The
3
piece
other
of paper.
kids.
I have a piece of paper that has a picture of them.
Moonglow,
Chester,
Chester,
and Razor.
and Chester became
Chester and Moonglow ring a bell.
Chester became Ned and Ted,
Wait, not Ned and Ted. Jed and
or whoever they were.
Jed and
Ned and Jed.
Ned and
Ned
Jed.
and Jed, okay.
Ned and Jed. And Moonglow just went away. And Razor went away as
I
well.
mean, I stole the character design from Chester and said, well, I like that. I'll use that for these guys, and put him in a powdered wig.
Why do the work again? Really?
Exactly.
How did we?
I'm trying to remember how we did.
How we referred to it to score it, because we would have had to play the game.
I think what we did. Yeah, I'm trying to remember too.
Hold
I think
up a
what we
video camera in front of the screen.
I think what we did was we got a save game made, and we would play it to the next, like, place where you could pause, or like we would, the next spacebar point or something like that, and then we would score it, and then we would make it so that the music, because the thing was that you couldn't rely on the sync, right? So we had to actually make the music interactive in a sense with the scene, so that it could, depending on how fast of a machine you had and how quickly therefore the scene would play, would the music actually hit the right hit points and then proceed correctly to the next hit point.
So we would have an accordion like.
We basically had an accordion-like structure.
Each little section, it would sort of pause and then resume at the hit point, or jump to the hit point if the hit point was reached first.
Yeah, and
I'm
trying to think if we
would be only the fastest machines.
Right.
The power of electricity!
Well, see ya.
Carry on.
It's closed.
So now, CD games were just starting to be released on CD-ROM, and
The first,
for us it was
the talkie, first talkie.
first talkie, right?
Was this before Rebel Assault?
It was it before or around the
Because
same,
we
same
shipped
year? I
two
think.
versions of this game. We shipped a floppy version and a CD-ROM version.
Followed up with our
CD-ROM was the
first
talkie, right?
our first talkie.
The floppy version only had voice in the intro, and then it was all text.
And that was not the original plan to do voice at all.
No,
We were not going to do it, and while we were making the game,
human voice was invented.
human voice was invented, and more and more people started to have CD-ROM drives in their home computer, to the point where Kelly Flock just came in one day and said, what do you say we delay the game a little bit and we make a full voice talkie?
Yeah, let's all thank you to Myst.
Although, was this pre-Myst?
No, I think, Myst was what sold all those CD-ROMs and Rebel Assault.
Anything breakable on your way out. What's this? Help wanted, moronic drone, assist genius, yada yada yada. Well, I'm the only genius around, and you look dumb enough. So pick up your lab coat and get to work. Hey, that's a left-handed hammer, you know. I invented it myself. It was for my ungrateful slob of a left-handed son. Oh, well.
Here I am, don't get your curls in an uproar. Excuse me, Mr. Washington. Boy, what a mess.
Hey, so when you guys write those multi-branching scripts, I guess you call
Dialogue
them,
trees?
is that what you call them, dialogue trees?
Yeah.
Was it, did you have to think in a certain mode, or how would you do it? And how would you notate it in Excel or something? Like, how would you map out the branches?
No, it was you would write it in code. We were programming the game at the same time.
You scum
so you
program
would
the
just-
dialogue as you wrote.
Oh my God.
You would literally say, here are the choices. If you pick this one, jump down there. If you pick this one, jump down there.
I don't know how Dave wrote it, but I just kind of improv it. Like, you'd write, I wouldn't think or plan too much about it, but okay, you just talk to him, then what would be 4 funny lines on the screen, and then kind of explore one, explore the other, and maybe have other nodes that you can go to, and then I would start planning. Okay, now I've got myself into a mess. How do I get out of here?
Yeah,
And
it's
the
kind
planning
of
would begin.
all about sets of lines. And it was great because one of the things that you run up against as a writer usually in other media is I get to this point and I have to make a decision about how things go. But here we can just leave that up to the player, and all you have to do is get to a point and go, oh, what are all the interesting things I might want to do here or say here? And then you just put them all in.
So it's
Easy as pie.
pre-editing.
And I remember you would always design a dead end, like where the train comes to the end of the line. Basically, it's like you say something and then he just keeps giving you the same answer, like, I wouldn't know about that. And then you try something else, oh, I wouldn't know about that. It's like, okay, I guess I've exhausted this. It's sort of like almost like a stopgap or a safety net in a way, maybe. I don't know.
They always try to let the player know when they've
end.
exhausted the character. They're like, look, okay, you found it. You found all of the entertainment we put in this character. It's done.
Because people will explore as deep as you give them. It becomes a responsibility. Oh, I've got to see if there's something down there that I'm missing. So I have to. So you don't want to do.
Yeah, it's
make
an
it too
interesting thing
huge.
to attention you get to wrestle with is like, you want to put a lot of, well, the player might go here, they might go here, they might choose this, might go choose, let's put interesting stuff in all those places. But then if you approach it in the wrong way, sometimes the player gets there and they're like, oh God, I've got to go through all of this stuff. And they feel like they need to find every nook and cranny of the dialogue. And you just put it in there so they'd have a variety of things to choose from, but they feel like it's a task list and they have to like find it all. And so you...
Or something's buried there that they missed.
Yeah.
What if it had the face of the devil on it, with like red, white, and blue flames coming out of his mouth?
Just put the plans on the table and I'll get to it.
Well, let's make it just like the British flag, but upside down to cheese them off.
Just put the plans on the table and I'll get to it.
We could have this babe like a waitress, and she's carrying this red, white, and blue cherry pie.
Just put the plans on the table and I'll get to it.
How about a big old picture of me?
Just put the plans on the table and I'll get to it.
I'll make it just like you were going to, but put in flying V guitars instead of stars.
Just put the plans on the table and I'll get to it.
Well, let's just have a picture of a guy carrying a bundle of sticks, and not name the country anything at all.
Just put the plans on the table and I'll get to it.
2 words, totally black.
Just put the plans on the table and I'll get to it.
Okay, instead of 50 stars, let's have one of those reclining silver babes, like truckers have on their mud flaps.
Just put the plans on the table and I'll get to it.
Why don't we put a crossword puzzle on it, so you have something to do waiting in line at the post office?
Just put the plans on the table and I'll get to it.
George wants the flag to be a pair of boxer shorts covered with little red valentines.
Just put the plans on the table and I'll get to it.
If you embroidered the order of poker hands in the corner, people would forget them less.
Just put the plans on the table and I'll get to it.
George wants the flag to be a pair of...
Just put...
Who's that? This is Ben's room, huh? He's
Yeah.
he's into...
He's big into penguins. What is that date that's circled?
Yeah, I was
Peter?
just going to ask.
Is that your birthday? Your son's birthday?
That says January, right?
Probably says Zach really small.
That's my wife's birthday.
Ah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Sneaky.
First or second? Because the car says Zach on the license plate.
Yeah, because Zach was born that year. So I snuck his name in and turned into a ritual. I now try to hide my kids' names in every project I work on.
They're in the bone pile in Grim Fandango, but I never could find it.
Yeah.
I just knew you told me they're in there.
And it's also in Full Throttle too.
Interesting.
But you can't see it. So it's for me, basically.
Well, you know, I remember we would deliver a piece of music, and of course it's comprised mostly of MIDI note events, which is just a tiny little piece of data within the MIDI stream. Note on, and it happens at this velocity on this channel to this instrument and whatever. And I would deliver a piece of music, and the programmer would turn to me and say, Clint, this is over 32K.
Yeah, it's huge.
32 kilobytes. 32 kilobytes. You got to cut this thing down.
Who do you think you are, Mozart?
Yeah. They said we can't take anything bigger for this scene than 24 kilobytes. So I'd go back and thin the percussion. I'd sometimes have to cut a whole section of the music out to get it down
Well,
to 20.
sometimes there was pushback though too, because we'd say, all right, look, 10%, we get 10%. Remember that?
Yeah, I remember the pushback.
Yeah.
I don't remember these technical discussions about the size of the music files.
Oh yeah.
Literally, and I remember specifically 32K was often too big.
That's why the iMuse system got called the iMuse system, because it was originally called the sound drivers, and then everybody got all upset that because drivers can't occupy a whole floppy disk or whatever it was that the system occupied.
Ick. Question is, which one's